Hey, hey, hey! You know what day it is? It's Tuesday Tea with D. 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 Hey, hey, hey. Listen, it is Tuesday, y'all. And y'all know it's Tuesday Tea with D. I got my tea. And guess what I got, y'all? I got my cute little mug from Tabitha Brown, y'all. Listen, y'all tag Tab. Let her know your girl D is over here drinking her tea in her Stay Focused mug, right? Stay focused. Stay focused. How y'all doing? Can I just tell y'all I'm tired in a good way? Depending upon when you are watching this. So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. But we are officially on day 10 of 21 Days of Prayer in 2023. And it has been nothing short of amazing. We have over 250 women registered for 21 Days of Prayer. And can I just tell you that this week's Tuesday Tea with D is brought to you by 21 Days of Prayer. And I want to personally invite you to join us for the next. To be honest, you can join us tonight because we go live every night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it has just been amazing. Like, I just cannot even, I don't know, but somewhere around this video, probably below in the description, you'll be able to see the link where you can register for 21 Days of Prayer. But honey, if you have not been there, bless your heart. Bless your little heart, honey, because I've been full like since we first started. It has gotten gooder and gooder. And I know gooder and gooder is not a word, but honey, it has been gooder and gooder. And so I just want to personally invite you to come and spend some time in safe space with us so God can speak directly to you. Not only about this year, but about your life, about your destiny, about your purpose, about your identity. Women are being affirmed and confirmed. There have been transformations. There have been healings right on the virtual space. It has been like God is just manifesting himself in an amazing way. And so I'd love for you to be a part of it. And so if you have not heard, we're doing 21 Days of Prayer. I will put the link somewhere down here where you can register. And you'll get access to daily email reminders. And then you will also get access to a reflection journal that I've created so that you can take notes every single night. And let me just tell you, you're going to want to take notes. You're going to want to watch it over and over again. You do get access to the replay for 48 hours, and then it goes into the vault of my inner circle. And so unless you're a member of the inner circle, you only get access for 48 hours. But the bonus is if you want to join the inner circle, enrollment is now available for that as well. And so I'm going to drop this here just so you can see this. And if you are interested in joining the inner circle, you want to get in because specifically today, January 10th is our first monthly training that we do every single month. And so if that is something that you're interested in, the information was there, and I'll put that also down in the notes of the description. So of course, we are drinking tea today, right? Sometimes I drink lemon water, but most times I'm drinking tea. And so as you can see, like, today is the Stay Focused mug. And really because today's conversation is called If Consistency Was a Person, would it be you? Right. And so before that we do that, of course, I got to take a sip of the tea. Oh, goodness. So this is my cider house blend. I've not had this in a really long time. I need to figure out how to order some more because it was a holiday limited edition. So we're now into winter. I bought this back in August when they were going into fall. Whew, but honey, can I tell y'all, this tea is so good. Oh, and I have my little thing in there. This is one of my loose tea blends. So good. Okay, so let's have this conversation about if consistency was a person, would it be you? This actually came from yesterday's conversation, day 9, 21 Days of Prayer. And the conversation had just come up specifically around me and how consistent I have been over these years in showing up. And, even just kind of like in my messaging and, even just showing up as myself. And somebody had put in the comments, if consistency were a person. And I count that kind of like as a privilege because, to be honest, I don't always consider myself consistent. Sometimes I feel like I am, falling short and I feel like I could do more. And in some areas, I know that I can, but I try to show up consistently. And that doesn't mean that I don't take breaks. That doesn't mean that I haven't taken breaks. That doesn't mean that I haven't had to pull back to recalibrate and kind of figure out what the new season looks like for me, because sometimes we come into a new season where what we were doing is no longer. And so I wanted to just have a possibly quick conversation with you around consistency in your life, consistency in your business, consistency in your ministry, consistency possibly maybe in your nonprofit organization, like consistency, maybe in your finances, consistency in your prayer life, consistency in whatever it is. And so if consistency were a person, would it be you? I find that many times when people are talking about getting out of their own way, one of the issues, pain points, struggles, challenges is inconsistency. They are not consistent. And so, and that's part of the reason why, is because they're inconsistent. So there are other reasons why they're inconsistent, but consistency, they're not consistent in a lot of different things. And so there's certain things that they want to accomplish. And so they start and they stop, they start and they stop. Hence the theme for this year's 21 Days of Prayer, full throttle, stop stalling. And so I wanted to ask you a few questions around consistency, like how consistent have you been in the thing, right? And so we know that God is consistent. We know that God has not been inconsistent with us. God has not shown up, right? If God is not around, it means you walked away, because God is ever present, which means he's always there. And so I just wonder, in what areas of your life do you need to be more consistent in? And sometimes it's not the big things that we need to be consistent in, it's the smaller things. It's the waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning for prayer that God has given us direction to do. It is the drinking of water that we do not want to drink, child, every day in order to, take care of ourselves. It is the, exercising and the movement of the body that we have not been doing. And so some of this stuff is just personal stuff for me. Like, if I'm being honest, I am working on getting back to moving my body. I do not like exercising. And I think it's because I've always been in a space where body movement for me has just been a part of my lifestyle and my routine as a dancer, a cheerleader, track, running, doing pageants, right? Having a personal trainer. When I was preparing for pageants, like, I've always kind of had something. And then even when I was running a family ministry, as the director of family ministry and youth ministry, moving around with the kids, and so this is a season where I have kind of just really been resting, and I've been pulling back, and I haven't been as active. And so for me, I've not been consistent in that area. And so I think, part of being consistent is acknowledging that where you have not been consistent. I think the other thing is acknowledging where you have been. Like, there are some things that you're very consistent in, right? And so I think when you can look at what you've been consistent in, right, and kind of determine, like, is my being consistent in this getting me to where I desire to be? Because sometimes you are consistent at complaining about where you are not, but you are not consistent in doing what it takes to get there. I know, child. I meant it. I ain't gonna say I'm sorry. I will take a sip of this tea and I'll let you sit on that for a minute. Right. And so you may be consistent in, allowing people to cross boundaries versus, and then being inconsistent in enforcing those boundaries. And so you may have to flip flop that to get to where you need to be. Right. And so, what does consistency look like for you? Because I think it looks different for everyone. And so I think you want to get clear on what consistency looks like for you. What areas of your life in this season do you need to be consistent in, more consistent in? And then what areas do you need to kind of maybe pull back from, right? Because if consistency were a person and it was you, what does that look like? If consistency were a person and it were you, what do people see, right? And so this was not me talking about my consistency. This was other people saying, we see you being consistent. We've seen you being consistent. We've been following you, and we've seen how consistent you've been over time. And you know, I don't I don't really boast about it, because there are some days when I'm consistent when I don't want to be, right? There's some days I show up when I don't want to show up. And sometimes me showing up is automation, right? And so maybe consistency for you looks like, in order for me to be consistent in this area, I need help in this area. In order for me to be consistent in this area, then I need somebody to do this in that area. And so for me, automation has been extremely important. And even in this season, I'm going to be looking at bringing on team to be able to assist me as things grow, because I can't do everything. And to some extent, I can only do so much via automation. There's some things that I'll just literally have to relinquish to another person, and not necessarily just to automation, that frees me up to operate at my fullest capacity in the thing that I've been called to do, right? Which is to preach, teach, speak, equip, coach, right? Show up in my authentic space, be a mom, right? And so what are the things that you need to remove, and so that you can be more consistent in the areas that God is calling you to? Let me just tell you, it's a process. Let me just tell you, it's not an overnight thing. Let me just tell you that, like, what you see now, and I say it all the time, whether you're new here or not, this has been in the making. And even I think yesterday or the day before that, for 21 days of prayer, I was saying, me talking about God and talking about my faith and interjecting that into my business is something that I have done since the very beginning. And so, whereas you see a lot of people now, saying that they're kingdom entrepreneurs, or, you know, um, just talk, kingdom women and kingdom men, and that they work with, people, Christians, and that sort of thing. Like, that has always been something that I've been doing. Like, if consistency were a person with that, when nobody else was talking about it, when it wasn't popular, because it's popular now, it's a trend now. Everybody ain't on that. Listen, don't get it twisted. It's another conversation. But the reality is that in some areas, I do get to pat myself on the back and say, wow, like, you really have been consistent. Like, when I see Facebook memories pop up from 2012 and 2013 about things that I've been sharing over the years, some now 10, 11 years, I get to say, man, like, I really have been doing this a long time. And so I just wonder, how can, first of all, let's just grant ourselves a little bit of grace, right? If you have not been consistent, sometimes life be life, and the world be world, and the people be people, and it just happens, right? Work be working, and the kids be kidding, right? And so I get that. And so, this is not this is a no judgment space. And so, yes, some things have happened, but if we bring it down a notch, like, what are the small things that lead to big things that we can be doing on a consistent basis that create, right, the ultimate result that we are looking for? And so, if consistency were a person, what would it look like? What would you look like if consistency were a person? What would you be doing? What would you not be doing? What do you need to stop doing? And if you need support, I'd love to be able to support you as your private coach, or in which you still have time to join. I could talk a little bit about that later. Inbox me or email me about my 6-month group accelerator. It's my community coaching program. We start in February. That is a 4-figure investment. And so my group coaching and my private coaching are 4-figure investments. And so if that's something that you're looking at, let's have a conversation about that, where you need a more in-depth and you need more private and deeper accountability and coaching. But aside from that, I would love to invite you to the inner circle, because I think that might be the first step for you as it relates to your consistency. It's safe space, right, for Christian women. to get out of their own way. And it's really the first step for you to get unstuck so that you can get started. So with that being said, make sure you join us tonight, day 10 for 21 days of prayer. Make sure you go to iSpeaklife.innercircle.com to join the inner circle. And more importantly, make sure you join me next week and next time for Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Child, this is so good. I'll see you soon.